Welcome back to the Turf Talk Podcast, your go-to spot for all things NFL. And this week, we are diving in to Week 10. We're also going to be giving you guys our midseason award predictions / picks and our thoughts on this week's games and latest news. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This week's news is very cut and dry. We don't have a lot. So I'm just going to say it right now, get out the way, and then we'll jump right into our midseason award picks. First, we got All-Pro left tackle Tristan Wirfs, plays for the Bucs, injured with sprained MCL. So
are we surprised? Are we surprised? The
Bucs
have already lost enough people.
I'm low-key heartbroken for this one.
Yeah.
You can lose your receivers. The minute you lose your offensive line, it's like, okay.
Over.
Yeah.
Baker can only do so much.
Yeah, but we don't have any confirmation of its season ending. I mean, what the fuck? It's already almost over anyways. You might as well just say
It's a
season
sprained
ending.
MCL.
It's going to be at least 4 weeks.
Knee problems are one of the worst.
At least 4 weeks. He's going to be IR. So, yeah, you're right. He's pretty much... We won't stamp it that it's over. It's over.
Yeah.
Next, we got Chicago Bears finally... Well, I shouldn't say finally because that's terrible towards fans. But the Chicago Bears have fired offensive coordinator Shane Waldron, former Seahawks offensive coordinator. It was about time. It was going to happen.
Yeah.
It was going to happen.
I'm not surprised by any means.
A lot of questions with the Bears, guys. What do we think?
Jameis Winston, I love it.
What do you mean, Jameis Winston? He's on the Bucs.
Oh.
I mean, fuck. I mean,
the Bucs.
The Browns.
Yeah, the Browns.
Okay.
Sorry.
The Bears and the Browns, they all start with B, okay?
Yeah, we both just fucked
Okay.
up.
Yeah, I'm the only smart one here. as far as I'm
Nick,
concerned.
take it away. Take it away.
No
Because
one
I
with the
just
Broncos
messed up
hat is
too.
smart, but take it away.
Yo,
Nick.
shush.
So the Bears started off the season 4-2. They looked pretty good. Caleb Williams looked like the real
This is
deal.
a shit show start of a podcast. I love it. Sorry to cut you off, Nick. Keep going.
Now they're struggling. They fired their offensive coordinator. They didn't just fire their offensive coordinator. They fired almost every offensive coach they have.
They should.
Where do they go now? They have a rookie
Well, that's what I was
quarterback
gonna say. They have a
with
lot
a
of
struggling
questions.
offense. Is this going to fix it this year? Probably not.
That's why I said they have a lot of questions, but then Dom had to say Jameis and fuck me up, too. I mean, gosh, this is terrible. I mean, hey, yo, we're keeping it real.
Just
this is,
restart.
Yo, should we fire me?
Rewind
I'm the
it.
offensive coordinator in this
Rewind it.
Let's
direction.
fire our head producer.
Yeah, I mean, come on. This is a terrible start, but I love it. I'm not even going to stop it. Next on our list, Chiefs designating Isaiah Pacheco this week from IR. What do we think about that? I'm actually excited to see it. Even though I hate the Chiefs, I'm excited to see Pacheco come back.
Well, actually,
am
I had
not.
an interesting conversation with one of my coworkers, of all people, and he told me something that really, I think, enlightened me. He was telling me about how, we may not like the Chiefs, they're still, as for like what they are and what they have, a very good team, and I think we have to respect that. How like good of a team for what they are.
I've said every week their defense is phenomenal.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can't. I mean, we're gonna get to it real quick. Not quick, but we're gonna get to it in the beginning of the episode. I just can't stand how this team always finds ways to win or gets a win somehow. I mean, you're 9-0.
Yeah. Well, that's when it like goes into respect
just-
portion because
it's
they
crazy.
shouldn't be doing how good they're
But that's what
doing.
elite teams do. They find ways to win, unfortunately.
Exactly. So we
And-
have to respect
And
it.
that's just what I'm going to say. As much as I hate the Chiefs, I think it is exciting to see Pacheco come back. What's that next step look like for the Chiefs?
Yeah.
Next,
I'm not excited for two reasons. One, they're a division rival. Two, I have Kareem Hunt on my fantasy team.
He's still going to get the same workload, I
no,
promise
he's
you.
not.
He's going to get red zone targets. I guarantee it. I mentioned this in our notes for the Broncos and Chiefs game. I'll just get out of the way now, this one little part. The Chiefs are phenomenal at finding ways to get their backs in the receiving game. Kareem
are.
Hunt's production is going nowhere, in my opinion.
Mhm.
You can't eliminate it. But next on our news, and finally, we've got Dak Prescott undergoing season-ending hamstring injury or surgery.
So I wanna talk about this one because on fantasy actually I had CeeDee Lamb, who was my first pick in the draft, and I recently got a trade for Breece Hall for CeeDee Lamb.
That's
I
crazy.
accepted that because
crazy.
without now you don't have Dak Prescott. Who's their backup?
Well, look at what happened this
Cooper
week.
Rush.
Cooper Rush.
And Trey Lance, who shit the bed.
Yeah. So this week we saw an interesting clip where CeeDee Lamb didn't even try to attempt to catch a ball that was in the end
Dude,
zone.
he had the
But-
sun
you
in his
can't blame
face.
him
Yeah.
for that.
No. I'm not. I'm saying.
Okay,
you guys
yeah.
let me talk. I'm saying. Yeah.
Oh my
He was
gosh.
blinded
No,
by the sun.
the way you said that, you can't deny that made it sound like you were blaming him.
I have to make it dramatic in some way. Anyways. So I think
You are dramatic.
so. I don't like Dak Prescott. I don't like the Cowboys. I have a lot of
does?
respect for CeeDee
Who
Lamb.
does?
But I don't. The Cowboys are what 3-.
They're terrible. That's all I know.
Yeah,
they
terrible.
got 3 wins. They got 3 wins. That's all it is.
Yeah.
3-7.
Yeah,
3-7.
Yeah, yeah.
Probably.
And I think it's only going downhill now.
This really just put the stamp on it for this
Yeah,
season. I mean,
yeah.
there's nothing else Jerry can do. Your trade deadline's passed. You have no capital to give up. You've spent all this money on Dak, who's now out for the season.
Yep.
Your team is at a point now where they don't believe in their head coach, and they're making comments in social media. It was Micah Parsons, was it not? He made a comment about how their coach can just leave.
Oh, I think I did see
Yeah,
that.
I don't remember the closed quotes of what was said, but there was something to the effect about Mike McCarthy can just leave if he's not still in it or something like that. I don't want to quote it or anything because I don't remember word for word. But what I'm saying is there's a lot of question and there's a lot of area of there's no unity with this team anymore. I don't think. I don't feel a team energy with this locker room anymore.
And it's not being run like a team. The guy they just traded for, Jonathan Mingo, he wasn't even activated for the game. He didn't dress.
Nope.
What are we doing?
Yeah, why
bother
trade
trading for him if
Yeah.
you're not going to let him suit up?
And CeeDee Lamb had no production this week.
Yeah.
No.
Well, his quarterbacks
8
played
fantasy
terrible.
points. Yeah.
And then you put in Trey Lance, and at first I was excited for it, but it didn't do anything. It didn't
it last,
spark
like,
anything.
2 minutes?
Yeah, it was the final end of the game, but hoping for a little bit more juice. The game was over. It didn't matter.
Yeah.
Now this is what I'm excited for. Nick, you had the
still
great
have
idea.
not looked.
You had the great idea of this week, guys. Give the credit to Nick of doing. It's not midseason anymore. We should did it last week, but whatever. Our midseason award predictions.
Changing it up a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm excited to go for
Me
this.
too.
So Nick had the idea of doing this. And what Nick is referring to when he says he hasn't looked yet is Dom has a rather interesting selection for his MVP award. I was there when he told me what it was because I'm the one who wrote it down for him. I think there can be a case made for it, but it is crazy. So we're going to go to the MVP list. And Nick, you're going to start us off. What is your midseason MVP prediction pick for MVP?
My midseason MVP pick is Lamar Jackson. Not Lamar Jackson. I read the wrong one. Josh Allen. Can we restart this podcast? Josh Allen.
Oh my God,
Josh
you read
Allen,
mine, bro.
Without Stephon Diggs, has still proven he can be the guy for the Bills. He's looked great. The Bills are, 7-2?
Yep. No, they 7-3. They might. Whatever. They have 7 wins.
Either way.
They're a really good team.
Yeah.
They're really good.
They are like 4 games ahead in the AFC East.
They're
right
not
now.
far off from the Chiefs, who they play this week, coming up week.
Yeah, that's going to be a good
I cannot
game.
wait.
It's a good ass game.
Josh Allen has to win this award. Like, we're talking most valuable.
I don't know.
Take Josh Allen away from the Bills. Done.
So
We're
there's
done.
a case to be made. Now my pick. You already spoiled it, but Lamar Jackson. This will be his 3rd MVP. Dom, shut your mouth.
Okay.
Lamar Jackson, for the last 4 consecutive weeks, or at least 3, if I remember correctly, has gone multiple passing touchdowns, over 200, 300 passing yards a week. No interceptions, clean football. Has led this team for the last 5 or 6 seasons to playoff appearances, has put up serious numbers. And yes, he's not getting it done in the postseason, but we've seen that this MVP award is always handed out to whoever the star of the regular season is, and to me, that is Lamar Jackson. This team, to me, is scarier than Buffalo. I think that the Ravens have a serious
yes.
case. Yeah, I know, but it's led by Lamar Jackson. Without Lamar Jackson, this Ravens team is nothing, in my
I
opinion.
love Lamar Jackson. I think he definitely deserves
And
the
that's why
award.
Dom's pick is crazy, which we'll get to in a second. But I think Lamar Jackson, this Ravens team, has a serious case we made to beat both the Bills and the Chiefs in the playoffs this year. I'm sorry, that's just my pick. And now we'll let Dom give his crazy...
So please just let me speak, guys. But I'm somebody who thinks that the MVP shouldn't be handed out to a quarterback every year, and that most
Certainly should
quarterbacks
be handed
are
to this guy.
overrated. I am a strong believer that CMC should have got it last year.
I agree with that.
And my MVP pick for this year, as of right now, is Derrick Henry. Now, hear me out. Derrick Henry's gone 184 attempts with 1,120 yards, averaging 6.1 yards per carry. 12 touchdowns, and tack on 10 receptions onto that. Guys,
Okay, aside from the stats, because I know it plays a big part, though, but, like, why?
so I think, like, honestly, I think that Derrick Henry is a big reason why Lamar Jackson is being as productive he's being.
So you think that Derrick Henry is more of the reason why the Ravens are where they're at now than Lamar?
Yes,
Okay.
because Derrick Henry opens up so much for Lamar to do.
I can
What?
see Nick just...
Lamar Jackson won 2 MVPs without Derrick Henry on his team. How is Derrick Henry making Lamar what he is?
Derrick Henry has over 1,000 yards, and we're at the midpoint of the season.
Big whoop.
Averaging 6.1 yards per carry. That's somebody that linebackers of every team have to respect.
I'm not dissing
You
Derrick
fill
Henry
the box
here, but-
to stop Derrick Henry. You're opening up the outside zones for Lamar Jackson to escape the pocket and go right up the field.
What is Lamar Jackson doing now that he hasn't done in the past? Answer that for me.
Oh, this is hilarious.
He's doing everything.
Dom, I'm letting you argue him. I'm not going to cut you
Okay,
off. I want you to
okay.
actually win an argument
I
for once, so
respect
keep
that.
going.
It ain't gonna happen.
Okay.
We're
This is
same
crazy.
question again.
We're talking most valuable player.
Yes.
And you're giving it to the least valuable position. Are you kidding me?
least valuable position. You think the
Look
running
at
back's the
what's
least
happening to
valuable
running
position?
backs right now in the NFL.
That doesn't matter. That
The most
doesn't mean.
replaced position in the league.
Yes, you want to know why? Because it has the highest injury rates among the league. Because they receive the ball the most, and they're the most. It's the most physical position.
All right, take Derrick Henry away from the Ravens.
Okay.
Where do you think the Ravens are right now?
I think the Ravens will still be extremely successful, but I don't think they're going to be nearly as good as they are right now. I
You
think
are
they have a more.
proving my point
I think they're
for
more
me.
of like sitting at a 5-5 record instead of
5-5.
I agree. Yes.
Take Lamar Jackson away from the Ravens. Take Josh Allen away from the Bills. Where do you think those teams are?
The Bills are going to be in the dubs because Josh. No.
Most valuable.
Okay, let's not talk about the Bills. Did you really just say the Ravens would be 5-5 without Derrick Henry?
Yes, I think so.
No.
I
Justice
think-
Hill has proven that he can do enough for that backfield. Are you joking?
No, but
My brother.
Guys,
5-5 is
Guys,
crazy
what
for
are
this
we
team.
talking about right
you're
now?
talking about a running back that averages 6.1 yards. How, as a defensive linebacker, D-end, or anything on defense, don't respect that?
Because just like the Niners do, they pick up any guy off for freaking free agency and they get him to produce. If you can scheme the run play right and get your offensive line, it's mathematics in a game of like chess. If you can get the right matchups, it's all matchups.
But
you can get any. Not any, but you can
Everybody
get a lot of
knows.
running backs.
Everybody knows that. That's not the reason Derrick
I don't
Henry's
think
successful
Derrick
right
Henry is the reason that this team only has 3 losses.
now. I think it is.
That's crazy.
I think it is because he is not only a scapegoat for Lamar Jackson, but also
And a scapegoat?
scapegoat
Why?
because he's defensive players have to respect him so much. It opens up the field for so many more
Are
opportunities.
you
for Lamar
insinuating they
Jackson.
don't have to respect Lamar?
No, they do. That they have to respect both of them, but it's the level of what.
I'm not saying. Let me get this straight. I'm not taking away that Derrick Henry doesn't like make that team elite. It does. When they signed Derrick Henry, it was one of the most talked about signings last season, off season. But I'm just saying, I don't think he's the sole reason that this team is 7-3 or whatever their record is.
I do, and that's just because I think it forces defenses to stack the box, and it opens it up for Lamar Jackson.
Were they not the 1 seed last year?
Yeah, they were
Okay?
without any notable running
Derrick
backs
They had what? J.K. Dobbins
and Gus Edwards, who are both on the Chargers now.
Okay, but now we're seeing, I think, a next level Ravens offense
Yeah, I agree with that statement for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
with the addition of Derrick Henry. I think.
I mean, this team's won countless games without notable running backs or receivers.
Yeah.
well, no. See, you guys are getting me wrong. I completely agree. Lamar Jackson is an elite
wrong.
player. I don't like Lamar Jackson. I think he's a running back.
That's so wild
but
to say.
He is an elite player.
He has more
regardless.
passing yards than Geno Smith right now. by
Yeah,
the way.
it was in the group chat today, Dom. If you looked at it, I hope you saw it. I hope you looked at it real good. Geno Smith's falling down with each week, and I love it. And you can say it's because he was on a bye week, and I don't really give a shit, to be honest with you. But I think this next one gets even more interesting. I can't wait to hear you argue this, Dom, because I don't completely disagree with you. But next award is Coach of the Year. Nick, who's your pick?
Of course,
My
it's
pick
fucking
is a
Sean.
tiny bit biased. I'm gonna go Sean Payton.
Yeah, fucking Broncos
Listen,
fans.
our roster is not good. I think that's no secret.
This guy's a hater.
We are overachieving big time.
I
2
feel
years
like
in a
he's
row.
just trying to rub it into me after the argument we had a couple weeks ago about how I fucking hate Sean Payton.
Buddy, that was an argument. You just got
You-
got killed the entire time.
Okay,
that wasn't an
continue,
argument.
continue.
Wrong opinion.
Keep yapping.
Sean Payton has helped this team overachieve 2 years in a row now. We are 5-5, fighting for a playoff
Went toe to
spot.
toe with the Chiefs.
We are supposed to be in year 1 or 2 of a rebuild, and we are in the playoffs if the season ended today. That is insane. Almost beating the Chiefs.
He's not wrong,
in
Dom.
Arrowhead Stadium.
I completely agree.
So
But not about Sean Payton.
What?
It's Bo Nix
Oh
that's
my
doing
God.
that.
Stop it.
Okay, I'm not getting back into this.
Yeah, all right,
Gabe,
so-
give me yours.
My pick is the man, Dan Quinn
I
of
like this
the
pick.
Washington Commanders.
The guy I
agree.
wanted the most
This
from
guy
our
That's a
is
good
in
pick.
year 1 of a legitimate, true rebuild. You can call the Broncos a rebuild. I don't think they blew it up as much as Washington did. Washington quite literally blew up the coaching staff, the roster, and everything. The only thing they really kept was Scary Terry, rightfully so.
And took a rookie QB and made
Yes,
something huge.
and they
out
took
of
a
it.
risk on a guy who everyone said was too skinny, too slight, is going to get hurt. They compared him to Lamar Jackson, but said he wasn't going to play to the level of Lamar Jackson. And right now, maybe he's not playing the level of Lamar Jackson because, like I just said, he's at an MVP level, but he's pretty damn close. He was in the
He's a
conversation for
rookie.
MVP award
He's a rookie.
2-3 weeks ago.
Yep.
So I think there's a case to be made for that. But my biggest point is take Jaden Daniels out of it. This man has taken a roster that I didn't believe in. Nick, you did believe in it going into the season. I did not believe in whatsoever, and I don't think much of their fan base did either, and has made a hell of a defense and a hell of a team who also almost won against the Steelers, who I believe has a very elite defense. I mean,
Absolutely.
for most of the second half, you watch them control that entire game. And for most of this season, we've watched Dan Quinn have tons of energy and get this team fired up to play whoever steps on the field in front of them.
Yep.
I think that is my guy for Coach of the Year right there.
And I think that cycles very well into mine because
just saying, you
talking
take it with
about the
your pick.
Steelers defense, I think that my pick for Coach of the Year is Mike Tomlin.
I love it. I love that
And
pick too.
So for
Honestly.
multiple reasons, it's because when was the last time the Steelers have had a losing record?
Under his
Never,
tenure,
right?
not at all.
Yeah.
Exactly.
20 years.
Under him,
And they've had
never.
some pretty trash quarterbacks since Big Ben's
Yeah.
left. Mason Rudolph, Kenny Pickett, the list goes on.
So that goes on to my next point. I think Mike Tomlin revived Russ's career.
he saved it.
I think I completely agree with
You
that.
can
I
now.
think so.
You can now. Okay, I don't think he played a great this week. I think he made much needed plays when they needed it. But I think now, because Pittsburgh's winning, it kind of fades away all the bad talk, if you will, of
Yeah.
Russell Wilson. And if he stays with the Steelers beyond this year and they continue to be at least playoff potential,
Yeah.
at least above 500, you can now argue to put Russ in the Hall of Fame still.
Absolutely. And I think this cycles perfectly into the next category, which is Comeback Player of the Year, in which I chose also Russell Wilson.
I was going to say this one.
What's he coming back from?
Well,
Being terrible?
Yeah, but okay, so at first I questioned it, Nick. So did I. I questioned it. But that's the thing, is Russ is coming back, and if you ask the public eye, he was trashed, he was treated terribly.
He was
and Denver
trashed.
and Denver did him dirty. And this is not my words, this is the public
we did
view
him
of the
dirty.
situation. I know, but this is the public view of the situation. Dom's believed it as well as any other person
do.
that Denver screwed him.
I do.
So in a way, this is a comeback of Russ having his revenge story in a
Yes.
way.
So
I
and-
can see where his argument is. It's just not my
So
ideal
how many
pick.
games has Russ played this season?
3.
3.
Is it 3?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Three or
because they had the
f-
bye
yeah,
week. They had
yeah.
the bye week. Yeah, that's why.
So he has 6 touchdowns with 1 interception, so we have a very good ratio there.
Oh,
and
his stats now through 3 games far better than what they were last year.
105.9 passer rating.
He's already
that's-
almost at 1,000 yards, is he not?
I want to say
Probably.
yes.
I'm gonna say Russ in 3 games has good stats, and they're a lot more. They translate a lot more to the game and the outcomes than they did in Denver last year
Yeah.
when everyone said he was having a good
And
season.
we can see the Steelers under Mike Tomlin's offense. We see that Mike Tomlin offense
It opened up
back.
the playbook completely. Yeah, because now Mike Tomlin can do his team,
Yeah.
and his team is punch you in the mouth with that defense, and then we'll rely on our offensive coordinator to
Yep.
kill your
Revive
defense.
that passing attack, brought
And
it
that-
right
yeah.
up from 22nd in the league, and now they're doing much better.
And like I said, I don't hate the pick because I think there's a case to be made for it
yeah.
because of the public view of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Nick, me and you went with the same pick. We both went Kirk Cousins.
I feel like you have to.
I do too. Regardless of the questions and concerns with this team, Kirk has had a pretty good season thus
You're
far.
coming back from a career-ending injury and still in the playoff.
People
hunt.
didn't think that Minnesota's going to pick him up, and when I hear that, I don't think who's going to pick him up, period. And he got a massive contract from Atlanta. Made total sense for him, his wife, and his family, so it made sense for him. He got himself another bag,
Yep.
and now they're not sitting at a terrible position by any means. I just think that there's a lot of questions to be answered, or not. There's a lot of questions there that need to be answered before playoffs because these areas of concern is going to be what kills them in the playoffs. I think, his stiffness in the pocket, can't have that. I think that's the ultimate game plan this week for Denver going in.
I'm hoping we see that.
Put
this week.
pressure on Kirk.
Yeah.
But other than that, like I said, I think Kirk Cousins is the go-to pick for me for that. I mean, terrible Achilles tear. I mean, it was awful.
Yeah.
And he was already walking on it and dancing on it at the awards ceremony last year. Remember that? Did any of you guys watch
Not
the Marriage?
particularly.
Yeah, he danced on the stage, and now everyone was like, how's he already on his foot walking and all that? And now he comes here and he looks like Minnesota
He
Kirk.
looks like himself, yeah.
It looks like Kirk Cousins, who used to be great in Minnesota, in my opinion. So I think this is my comeback player of the year. With that, we're going to go to our offensive player of the year. Nick, we're going to look like hypocrites right now after we just argued with Dom for MVP.
These are 2 different awards.
That's true. That's why I
The
said that's
most valuable player in the league is way different from best offensive player.
of the year. Yeah. Yep. But we both went Derrick Henry. Dom,
Thoughts?
Thoughts on you guys going? Derrick Henry?
I see where you're at with the MVP thing. I just don't think that he's the most valuable player. I think he's the best player offensively this year.
Okay, so let me ask you a question real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
If, let's say let's say Josh Allen gets MVP.
Yep.
Do you think now Lamar Jackson fills offensive player?
Unfortunately, it would probably take the award away from Derrick Henry, yes. I think so.
Okay. That makes sense based on what you said before.
But you could also make a case for your selection of Offensive Player of the Year. because it's not just the running back position that's changed the league this year. There's another guy at another position.
So I picked for Offensive Player of the Year Jamar Chase.
And he just
enough.
lit up the Ravens
55
defense.
fantasy points.
Lit up the Ravens.
So
had him.
on the year, Jamar Chase
200 and something receiving yards in a single game is crazy.
Yep,
3
981
touchdowns.
yards so far this season, averaging 14.9 yards a catch.
So I'd love to come back to this when the actual ceremony comes by and be like, and see what the actual offensive player of the year is, because if Jamar's not at least considered, that's crazy. It's crazy.
I think it's going to depend a lot on where the Bengals are to end the year.
I don't care where
Jamar
they're
Chase and Joe Burrow are the reason the Bengals are have any
No,
life
but
at all.
wait,
If I
I
showed
agree.
you Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase without their record, you would think they're like the top
No,
3 in the
100%.
league.
But I feel like better teams automatically get thought of as, oh, these players are better. They should deserve it more.
Yeah.
But that's not
Even if
how it
it's not
should
true.
be.
Even if it's
I
not
agree
true.
with
Yep.
that, but I don't think that's how it should be.
I agree with you.
But yeah, no, I totally think Derrick Henry is the go-to spot for offensive player of the year. If not, it's got to be a guy like Jamar Chase, because like he is putting up insane numbers, and once again, it's against the Ravens defense that he has a career game.
That's the reason that game was even as close as it was.
Their two outings this year are up there with the best game of the year.
Oh yeah,
100%.
Offensive shootouts, entertaining. That game was so fun to watch, and we're gonna get to it. But that game was amazing, and I wish I didn't have work. I had to watch the first half the next day, but I did watch the second half when I got home.
Yeah,
and it was,
so
it was
I was
so
actually
fun.
had my phone propped
watch.
up while I was in work watching that game
It was such a good game.
because it was too good to miss.
Now here's where things get really interesting. Defensive player of the year. Nick, start us off.
I went with Dexter Lawrence.
Sexy
He's leading
Dexy.
the league in sacks as a defensive tackle, which
Is he still leading? Is he actually still
I
leading?
think he is.
I picked him regardless. I don't care. For a nose tackle to have as many sacks and tackles
Even
and
be in the top
create
5.
exactly and create as much pressure as he does for the Giants, I think that he is ultimately responsible for a lot of the Giants' defense's
agree.
success and why they stay in games.
That is crazy how he's a nose tackle too doing that.
And I would love to see him win
That's
this
something
award.
you would see a DN do.
Yes, exactly.
Trey
I'd love to see this
Hendrickson
award.
is first with 11. Dexter Lawrence is second with 9.
So on my pick, if you guys look at the notes, I have Dexter Lawrence / Trey Hendrickson because I didn't want him to go unnoticed because I figured he'd be overlooked by the Bengals record.
Yeah.
But he is a phenomenal edge rusher and has
absolutely.
proven for the last 3 seasons that he can be a true threat in the pass rush. And this year he's proving it. So I have him / as like my. He could definitely be the pick this year.
He's very
if
underrated
Dexter
for sure.
falls off a little bit.
Yep.
But
Yep.
that's my pick.
So that leads me on to mine. Is I'm going to sound a little bit like a hypocrite after just saying how Dexter Lawrence is doing
Yeah.
crazy at nose guard, but mine was Nick Bosa. A little bit different than what you'd expect, but so Nick Bosa is 32 total tackles in the league. 22 of those are solos, with 1 interception and 5.5 sacks. So also, if you look at these notes, you'll see a / Aiden Hutchinson.
Yep.
So
It's unfortunate he got hurt.
Gabe said something very interesting earlier when we were talking. You said he was on course to have what?
One of the most historic seasons for he had like what
9 sacks.
9
when he got
sacks in
hurt.
the first
5 sacks in a single game.
yeah.
Yeah.
Broke the
So
Lions record in sacks for a game.
He would have had a historical season if he'd never gotten hurt, and it's so unfortunate to see a player of that caliber not get to play out this entire season, especially with how the Lions have been playing. I mean,
this is only his second year in the league. I can just imagine how good the Lions would be right now if they still had him.
could you imagine if they had him and they still traded for Zadarius Smith or any other edge rusher?
Crazy.
It'd be insane. That defense would be nasty.
Yeah.
So I would have probably have had Aiden Hutchinson as well for this
100%.
pick.
But so why I picked Nick Bosa for this? 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a little bit.
Explain it, yep.
So
It's a little far-fetched, but
it's
I like it.
far-fetched. But Nick Bosa for the 49ers is
He's a game changer.
I think huge for them. He's
Yeah.
what creates a lot of those QB pressures.
He
that
says
we
it
see
every
with-
week. If I don't get a sack, it was an unsuccessful game.
Exactly,
And
and
that's
I
how
love
he
his
looks at it.
mentality.
Yep.
I love his mentality. It's what every player in the NFL.
He
does.
doesn't care about anything but doing his job and getting a win, and he doesn't matter how you get it done.
Exactly.
And I think that if you take Nick Bosa out, and I think this is why I'm not going to argue your pick for this, you take Nick Bosa out of that 49ers defense, I don't think they get as nearly many pressures or low-scoring games on the other end.
Exactly.
Granted, teams are still putting points on them. I
But
don't think
he's
you
what creates
understand.
that pressure
I
on
don't
the
think you
quarterback.
understand how impactful Nick Bosa is until you eliminate him from the game.
Even despite the stat line.
Exactly. And that's why I said I'm not going to hate on this pick because it's completely understandable. I mean, he's a huge game changer for that team specifically. So now, this is where I'm excited to talk about this because I went a little bit differently than you guys. Offensive Rookie of the Year. So Dom and Nick, why don't you guys tell them what you picked since you guys have the same guy?
So we went Jaden Daniels, and Nick, I want you to tell me why you picked Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels and the Commanders have very much exceeded the expectations of most people.
Agreed.
He has gone toe-to-toe with Lamar Jackson. He's found himself in MVP talks as a rookie in the NFL, which is pretty much unheard of. I feel like he's done enough to win Rookie of the Year. I really do.
So I think that along with that head coach selection you picked earlier, I think that Dan Quinn, I think that Jaden Daniels is a huge reason these Commanders are anywhere close to where they are.
He's put a
100%.
sense of confidence in that team.
This is a rookie, mind you.
Yeah.
A rookie that was almost in the race for MVP, going against people like Lamar Jackson.
3 weeks ago, I'm
Derrick
pretty
Henry.
sure he was in conversation. People said, what if...
Has
what
there ever
if?
been a rookie that won MVP before?
Not that I'm aware of.
Feel
There
like
might have
there's
been.
probably one.
Well, you looked that up.
Yeah.
Guys,
So-
where I differ from you two,
Yeah.
and you guys are probably not going to agree with me, and of course, I'm biased. I'm wearing the Broncos hat. I'm wearing the Broncos windbreaker. Bo Nix is my Offensive Rookie of the Year pick. You cannot sit here and tell me that he's at least not in consideration.
He's top 3 minimum.
Because I think right now, if Jade, I don't think I've seen multiple different graphics, so it's hard to say who's who and where's what. I've seen multiple places that Bo Nix leads rookies in passing touchdowns, passing yards, rushing yards. Granted, Jaden Daniels might be ahead of him now after the game,
I don't think he leads in passing touchdowns,
but
he leads in total touchdowns.
I
for
think
sure.
where I stand with this and why I pick Bo Nix for this, the guy is doing more with less. We've watched him go toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes this past week. I don't care about the field goal. Say all you want. Say they're an elite team. Say what you got to say. The Broncos, Bo Nix outplayed the Kansas City Chiefs and went toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, he did.
And if you can't sit there and recognize that, then you are a Patrick Mahomes glaze. Because Bo Nix proved this is the week where I finally walk away and I say, we found our franchise quarterback. That is the guy I want to surround the team with. That is the face of Denver, Colorado now.
Yep.
And he's doing it, no offense to Cortland Sutton, he's doing it with Cortland, who's an elite number 2, but not a 1. He's doing it with rookie receivers. He's doing it with no tight ends. He's doing it with a subpar offensive line.
Our guy,
And with no running backs.
Our guy who was supposed to be our wide receiver 2 has less receiving touchdowns than Bo Nix this season. That's insane.
Bo Nix is my guy. I don't care what you say. There has to be a case to be made. When you pick Offensive Rookie of the Year, I want you to look at it as, what is the situation? Why is he winning football games? There's got to be more than just the excitement factor and that they're 7-3 or whatever the Commanders are. And I want to give Jaden Daniels his credit and the Commanders their credit. But I think a lot of Jaden Daniels' success is Cliff Kingsbury, Terry McLaurin. You have Austin Eckler and Brian Robinson. You have a phenomenal defense that's now led by Dan Quinn. He has everything that's already there. They are already a playoff team. The Broncos, ideally, on paper, are not a playoff team.
Not even close.
This team is 5-5 and competing because of the coaching staff. This team is 5-5 and competing because we finally have a quarterback who is competent, who plays good football.
Who will talk back to the coach.
And that's where I sit and I say that Bo Nix is the Offensive Rookie of the Year.
So I'm not going to argue with that at all. I completely respect that opinion, especially from somebody who just argued that how good Bo Nix is to that Broncos offense. So I'm going to say Bo Nix is very close second behind Jaden Daniels for my pick.
He's got to be at least considered. That's all I ask.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
I think he's like close second because I think as we saw Bo Nix play, how good he's playing is also phenomenal. For a
From
rookie.
all the disrespect in the media, from that he was not the right selection for Sean Payton, that he shouldn't have been the 6th quarterback taken, that he should have fallen to the 2nd round. All these stupid what ifs with Bo Nix, and all during the preseason, he's playing vanilla defenses. It doesn't matter. Well, what is it now, guys? What is it now? What can what can the critics and people say? You look at the analytics and all that. Bo Nix is defying all of them every week. I don't care that the Baltimore game was a complete blowout. Bo Nix played his ass off. That team did not surround him that day. Little Jordan Humphrey was off. Cortland Sutton was off. The defense was off. Bo can't do it alone. Bo's doing way more than he's asked. And the guy is only in his 10th start. And for that, Offensive Rookie of the Year. I'm sorry. That's how passionate I am when it comes to this whole situation. And I don't care if I'm a Broncos fan or not. Bo Nix, I'm saying it here, next year could be a top 12 QB. Next year at this point. I'm confident when I say that.
If we surround him with the right pieces.
We shall see.
I won't say top 10 yet, but at least top 12, I think he'll be in that range.
So,
So, hold on. Sorry. There is one rookie who has won NFL MVP. Do you guys want to guess who it is?
Oh, yeah. No, I don't.
Tell me what year. Tell me what year. Is it recent?
No.
Okay, so then I'm not gonna guess.
Jerry Rice.
No.
If it was to be someone, it had to be someone Hall of Famer like that. Well, he looks for that. Why don't we move to our defensive rookie of the year?
1957.
Yeah, I'm not getting it. Yo, come on.
Jim
This
Brown.
ain't a trivia. Oh, okay. I feel stupid now.
Okay. Anyways,
That's crazy. Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He's the only player to ever do it.
I feel like everyone should know that if you're a football fan. I feel ashamed right now. But like I said, this ain't no trivia podcast. Come on, I wasn't going to know that.
we're on the
All right.
spot.
Let's get to the defensive rookie of the year.
I want you guys to tell me yours first before I put mine in.
Nick, go for it.
So Gabe and I, for defensive rookie of the year, we both went Jared Verse from the Rams. Just last night, he had a forced fumble and a sack.
Dude, you see I wish that this was a more tracked stat. His pressures, his QB pressures, was on Tua all night long.
Yep.
And I think that's where I come in and say this, because all season long, all I've seen in every Rams game is Jared Verse in the backfield. It may not be listed as a sack.
I think he has
It may not be
5.5
listed
on the year.
Yeah, and that's not bad.
That's
at
pretty
all
good for a rookie
defensive end.
Yep.
Especially from a guy coming from the ACC, who is not labeled as a very competitive conference in college football. He came from FSU. Their season got cut short last year. They didn't get to go to the playoffs, which is unfortunate, but we're talking about the NFL right now, so we'll move on from that. I think Jared Verse has taken massive steps and has proven his role on the Rams. And like I said, every week I see him in the backfield. It may not be a sack and it may not be a solo tackle, but he's in the backfield causing pressure and messing up plays for the offense. And that's why I agree with Jared Verse as the defensive rookie of the year.
So,
and Dom, you take it away.
So staying on the Steelers, I feel like that's been a common theme with me.
I think
today.
you're just a Steelers
Not
fan,
even on-
Loki.
not even on purpose.
I think
but-
you're deep down a Steelers fan.
So I'm going very different. I'm gonna go Beanie Bishop Jr.
I like this pick.
I don't disagree.
Yeah.
I think he's underrated for what
I
he
love
is.
this pick.
So he has 28 total tackles on the season. 20 of those are solos. A .5 half a sack. Don't remember when that happened, but
The reason that I don't mind this pick is he's just a ball hawk. He's everywhere.
yeah, and 3 interceptions.
Look
on
at the
the
game
season.
against the Jets.
That's what I was
right?
going to say.
2 interceptions
Dude,
in the
there
same
was
game.
there was a 2 week span where he had interceptions,
Yeah.
multiple. Like
So-
there's a case to be made for this.
So Beanie Bishop as a he's like a guy that you don't hear a lot about, but like he's just a
They
guy that
switch him
resonates
around
in my
from the
head.
outside corner to the nickel all the time. Like he's
Yeah.
not just sitting in one spot.
And this
Mike
is a
Tomlin
rookie.
moves
Like,
him around.
This is a rookie that
Oh,
knows
yeah, and he's
multiple
picking the
spots
game
in
up
the
fast.
field. Yes, this quick movement this quick development is exactly what we need to see in players,
It's Mike
especially
Tomlin
now
for
in
it.
the
He knows
league.
how to develop guys and he knows who has the talent.
Exactly, and in a league where patience is starting to run more and more short with time of development.
I think that's just with generations as we get further in. Like people are just less patient. There's
Yeah.
not a lot of anticipation
which I
anymore.
don't agree with at all, but
Yeah.
it's how the league's
And you're
going.
now seeing it in sports. So.
Yeah. So Beanie Bishop, who seems to be developing very quickly, I think has a very bright future ahead of him, and he's going to be my pick for Defensive Rookie of the Year.
And like I said, before we move on, I don't hate that pick at all. I think there's a case to be made for it. I hope. Because what we've seen with the cornerback position, especially with rookies, as they progress, it's hard to remain consistent being a cornerback in this league. It's hard to watch. It's not easy for rookie cornerbacks to go into their second and third season and continue the success. I mean, Trevon Diggs, granted, he did have the injury, but Trevon Diggs for the Cowboys has not had the season he had after his rookie year.
Yeah. And if you look, so anybody can go on Google right now and look up the hardest position to play in the NFL.
Cornerback for sure. It's got to be
Cornerback
one of
shows
them.
up. Cornerback shows up
that
as
and
number one.
quarterback or I sometimes
Cornerback.
think I know, but I'm
Yeah.
saying I sometimes think that corner at times can be comparable to the difficulty, if not more difficult than quarterback.
I agree.
It is known on
I mean-
Google as cornerback is the most difficult.
You are
position.
literally mirroring the receiver, following their breaks, watching the eyes of the quarterback.
And mind you,
after
these are
playing
some of
ball.
the fastest people in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to mirror them and know where you're going and know where the ball is and what the
And you've got to be able to
quarterback's doing.
tackle an open field if it ever
Imagine
comes to it.
playing Lamar Jackson.
That's why, dude. Don't.
And
brother.
imagine having to tackle Derek. You're a
Thank
corner.
you.
Imagine.
Because if you were going to say Lamar Jackson,
Oh no, I was going
make
to add
him.
Derrick Henry in too, but I respect Lamar Jackson. I don't like him, but I respect him.
Okay,
like
I'll
I
take
was
it,
saying.
I guess.
So imagine you have to not only stop Derrick Henry, which is a 220-pound beast. He's 6 foot. What?
Well, that's why the like 6'4".
4, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why the cornerback position is so hard. Is there's not a lot of longevity, and a lot of these quarterbacks don't maintain or sustain their form and their ability to play clean football.
And
There's
it's-
only a few that are good at tackling, good at playing the ball, good at pass breakup, and that is going to be your Patrick Surtains, your Sauce Gardners, your Jalen Ramseys.
Yeah.
There's only 4 top corners, really.
People are even starting to turn on Sauce Gardner now. Have you seen that?
I'm always was turned on him because PS2 is number 1.
Just
sorry, PS2 is number 1.
I go with Spoon.
They're making fun of his tackling.
You're just a
ability.
Seahawks fan. That's the only reason.
Yeah, you're just a Broncos fan.
Okay.
Okay, no, we don't have time.
Yes,
don't have time.
We always have time. We didn't include Walter Payton Player of the Year just because that's an award that's highly voted on by the league and communities. So I don't think right now it's easy to speculate on.
Yeah.
And then same for Next Gen Stats Moment of the Year. That is so hard to calculate. We still got 8 weeks of football left.
Can't.
Yeah.
So for those 2 awards, we're not going to get to it. But I think that was pretty fun. Like, sit there and think about what are our picks and predictions now. We can come back to it.
And we can see how these change over the course of the rest of the
because
season.
you never know, especially in the NFL, what do these next 8 weeks hold?
All these guys can get hurt tomorrow.
And we're about to get to that because, well, actually, we're going to get to it eventually because the Vikings are a mess right now. But first, for Week 10, Nick, we know, you're right. For Week 10 reactions, we're going to start with Thursday Night Football, Bengals versus Ravens. And as we said, one hell of a football game.
So we touched on this earlier, how good this game was and how I was watching it work. Oh my God. Jamar Chase, my former offensive player of the year that I picked. Burrow and Jamar Chase lit it up. Amazing.
Both of them in fantasy.
Game.
I had both of them in fantasy.
33 points for Joe Burrow, 55 for Jamar Chase.
I went in our league to go see who has them.
Yeah.
And I was just like, 55 points is crazy.
Oh.
I could use that 55 points right now. I have no one. I have no running backs or receivers because of injuries. I'm playing with Lad McConkey, Brian Thomas Jr., who both of them just failed me this week.
What's your record?
I think I'm 5-5 right now. I'm 500 still, but I'm on a 4-game losing streak.
Cooked.
So it's killing me.
I'm on a 6-game win streak.
Now, yes, the Bengals played phenomenal.
I think they should have won this game.
But Lamar Jackson, bro. He is him, bro. That touchdown in the 4th quarter where he throws it, flicks, and looks away. He knew it was a touchdown.
It was
to
like
Bateman.
a basketball
to Bateman,
shot.
yeah. And they said on the thing, like a Curry fadeaway.
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson, MVP with this game. Yes, they failed the 2-point conversion, and that's why they lost.
So I do want to touch on that later, but
There is a case to be made that technically the Bengals lost this game. The Ravens did not win it, technically. You could argue that. But I think this game right here is just one more reason to why Lamar Jackson is my MVP pick and why I think that Lamar Jackson is the sole reason of the success of this team. Now, I don't know if you agree with that.
So, I want to talk about the Bengals a little bit for this game.
Yeah.
Going back to Jamar Chase
they should
again.
be talked about. They should be talked about.
11 catches, 264 yards in one game. That's
3
one
touchdowns.
receiver getting that with 3 touchdowns.
Well, look at Joe Burrow. He has over 400 yards. It's
almost unheard of.
This is like the 3rd time this season that Joe Burrow surpassed like 300 or 400 yards a game.
34 completions as well on 56 attempts, 4 touchdowns.
It's honestly sad that this team can't win football games, and I don't know where you
I
pinpoint.
said this in an earlier podcast episode. I said the Bengals are the best worst team.
And I don't know where you pinpoint the area of
like what
like where is it going wrong?
Yeah, they seem
Zach
to be.
Taylor cannot be that bad of a coach. He was just in the Super Bowl a few years ago.
He's not. I don't think it's coaching. I think it's
Nick. You're making a face. I need
a lot of
something.
faces
I need
over
something.
here
What is it?
because
What
you
is
know
it? It's got to be something.
I think it's bad luck.
I think
want to be honest.
It could be.
It's their defense is awful, and the offensive line is even worse. They spend millions on their offensive line.
Yes,
every
the
year.
defense could help them out. They could use a little defense help, but it's just like, is that really the only reason they're going to lose these big of games?
Listen, they have Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Chase Brown.
Technically, they don't have T.
Mike
Higgins.
Gesicki.
He's not playing. He's hurt. Still.
Yeah, but he's still on the team.
Yeah, I know, but he's not
Look at Mike
contributing.
Gesicki a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he is.
National Tight Ends Day, I think.
Yeah,
He went
every
off.
tight end went off, but yeah.
Their offense is totally fine. They can compete with any offense in
Yes,
the league.
they've showed they
100%.
went toe to toe
They did it
with the
twice
Chiefs
with the
this year.
they have one of
They-
the best offenses in the league, arguably.
100%. Their defense consistently lets them down.
Could you imagine if this team had the Chiefs defense?
They,
Once
they
They're a
would be
Super Bowl
9-0.
team.
Yes,
They would be
Super Bowl
9-0.
team.
this team, I genuinely don't know where it comes
So
from.
I think
Zach
it's
Taylor.
bad luck, and this is the reason why. At the very end of this game, we saw a very controversial play. Let's play.
And that
I
was a
agree with the
question.
play, though.
That was a question I
I
wanted to
don't
ask you
at all.
guys. Did the Bengals make the right choice? Do you go for 2 there, or do you just go to overtime
I
and see
go
what
for 2.
happens?
I go for
Because if
so okay. So
you have nothing to lose.
I would go for 2, but the issue they had was the timeout they called. and I think there was
Too much
no
time to
need
think
for
about it and all that?
No, it killed all their momentum.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Yep.
They had momentum driving down the field.
There's
and they
too
killed
much
it.
time in between for you to consider your confidence
Yeah.
of going in for
You
this.
need to just run
you
that
also
play.
just gave the Ravens defense just enough time
Yeah.
to get a water break, a
Get
breath
a
of air.
breather, get
It's just-
fresh.
I
and
said
talk
this
things
last
over.
week with the
you
Bucks
never
and
give
the
John
Chiefs.
Harbaugh time either.
Yeah.
When the Bucks kicked the PAT, I was like, "That's a mistake." You have the Chiefs on their heels. You have
Yeah,
all the
we saw
momentum.
how
Yeah,
that
you
ended
did
to
say
go
that
and
last
win the
week,
game.
and this holds true right here. I mean, obviously they didn't have the outcome they wanted.
Both
but
teams
like,
lost
like
anyway,
Dom just
but-
said, you immediately went about it the wrong way when you took the timeout.
Yeah, you need to
Why would
keep
you take
that
your foot off the gas
defense
pedal?
reeling.
If it's going, don't stop.
Exactly.
So going off the players and more onto the refs again, which I'd like to bash throughout
Dom
the season.
loves the refs.
There
You've got a lot of
was
ref stuff to
multiple
address.
missed calls on this play. One was forceful contact to the head.
There was
of
a
Joe
lot of
Burrow.
missed calls.
Three
on Burrow.
face masks on the same play.
Yeah,
on
yeah,
the
I saw
two-point
that. I saw
conversion?
that photo.
How about roughing the Pat? Burrow got beat up this game. Beat
No, like
up.
literally
That's 'cause
after
offensive
the
line
ball's
sucks.
gone, a second later getting rib
Yeah,
shot
what's
left
that
and
guy's
right.
Justin Natabuke or whatever his new first name is?
Yeah.
Destroyed Burrow on one play with a ref right there, nothing called. And Burrow literally got up and was like, "Are you kidding?"
Yeah, the ball's long gone, mind
I'm
you.
one
after.
person right here to say I hate roughing the passer. There are blatant times where it's like, okay, call it.
Like that, you can
Like,
break the, you can
Burrow
end this
could've-
guy's season off.
And
of
Burrow's
nothing.
already has already sustained too many injuries
He's
in his
gonna
career,
end up like Andrew Luck.
and it's sad because I hope
He's
not.
amazing.
Burrow is elite at quarterback
So
and in
is
this
Luck.
league. I know, and it's sad. We never got to see Andrew Luck really pay off either.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
We also saw on this same play, this 2-point conversion, there was a blatantly missed defensive pass interference or holding, whichever way you want to take it. I
Either way,
forgot
it's a
who
missed
it was
call.
on, but it was like this guy was ripped to the ground in the end zone. How do you miss that, refs? How do you miss 4 calls on the arguably the most important play of the game?
Guys, I said I wanted Evan McPherson to get the game-winning field goal for my fantasy team, and they chose to go for 2. So, quite frankly, they deserve to lose just for that. I'm kidding, but
You've gotten
salty.
1 point from them, by the way.
I don't care. The only reason that he had 4 points is what kills me. It's because I saw the score and I'm like, really, only 4 points. It's all PATs. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but yeah, I don't know. Take all the officiating problems away. It was still a fantastic game for football fans.
Yep. Especially for Thursday night football.
Exactly. I was gonna
Yeah.
say, Amazon Prime needed that because
Yeah.
now fans are more.
Likely to tune in.
Yeah, because now they might say, okay, maybe next week's game will be good.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, we'll get to that towards the end of the episode. But
So moving on to the Broncos and Chiefs. Now I'm gonna let you guys take away
This
with this one
game
because
is
I didn't
so-
get the chance to watch it, unfortunately.
lucky
you,
Yeah,
dog.
you're lucky.
Lucky you.
Well, I don't know because no, you actually were on our side with this. You did pick the Broncos because you hate the
I
Chiefs
did.
as everyone in the
Yes.
league should. This game, as I said, and I'll repeat it again. And I'll look at the camera for it. Bo Nix is the Broncos franchise quarterback. I think with the right offseason, you make the right picks in the draft, you make the right signings, you go about this offseason in a strategic, calculated way. This team is a true playoff team next year and a legitimate threat in the AFC.
I completely agree.
And that's
I completely agree.
it's simple, it's quick, it's brief, but that's where I'm sitting. And Nick, you are Mr. Negative for every game.
Yes, I am.
truly leave this game. Yes, I'm not going to lie. For the first 3 or 4 hours after the game, I considered crying. This
Consider.
game broke my heart. But the next morning, it did feel like a victory Monday because I walked away confident. I walked away happy that this team can compete now. I can legitimately say I look at this Broncos team and they're winning football games. Or they can compete to win football games.
Yeah, and they're playing better than we ever expected at the very beginning of the season.
They
We
were
saw how they
projected
started.
to be 31st in the league this year, right ahead from the Patriots. And you were way ahead of that.
I think they were projected to win 5 games.
Are
the
they
whole
not top
year.
10 right now?
No, they're
I saw them
they're-
top 10 for
They were
that
like
was a few weeks
hovering
ago.
around 11,
Yeah,
12.
they're
Now we're
out of
probably
it
gonna
now.
fall.
They're out of the top 10 now because of the losses from the Ravens and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But like I said, this game didn't feel like a loss to me. I feel like there's more gain from it.
Either way, you guys are playing an undefeated team, and it's 16-14.
I mean,
is the
you
final score.
lost on a blocked game-winning field goal. It doesn't happen often. Now, here's where I'm kind of aggravated. I've watched a lot of All-22 film, and I've watched a lot of analysis of this game. Throughout the game, it was covered today on ESPN. The first play or the first field goal of the game, you had Alex Forsythe on the left side of the field goal block, like normal. The Chiefs don't crowd that side of the line. Second field goal, they don't crowd it again, but they noticed that there's some technique issues on that side. Third field goal is the 60-yard miss where McCole Hardman almost took it back to the house.
I was.
They
so
crowded.
nervous.
They crowded the left side of the line that time. Alex Forsythe to the ground. For the rest of the game, they did that. Now it's the final field goal. It's the game-winning field goal that gets set up. It's about time the Chiefs are going to get a pass on this. They've figured us out. They crowd the left side, and you saw the outcome. Alex Forsyth on the left side collapsed, and they blocked it. Why are you, Sean Payton, in this part of the game, or anyone on the coaching staff, you have too many personnel and staff to not pick up on this. Move them to the right if you're going to have it on the right hash. Like, make adjustments.
It didn't just happen this game. This has been happening.
This is a occurring problem.
Game.
He said it in the presser. He said that we know it's Alex. It's been happening. Okay. So
get him out of there.
Do something about it.
I don't care if the guy behind him is an undrafted free agent or some bum. You put the
I'll
next
put Bo
guy
Nix
up.
in there before I put him back in there.
You put the next guy up until you figure it out. If you're not going to get it done, you're not going to be on the field. It's simple as that. I mean, that right there puts you at 6-4 and the Chiefs at 9-1 and a huge headline in the news. And now you got none of that. So
for the sake of moving on, guys.
No, I still haven't said anything about this game. We can't move on.
You gotta let him get it out. This is a therapy session for Broncos fans.
I watched this game from the opening kickoff to the final blocked field goal. I was at home when it started. I was at work when it ended. I watched Bo Nix on 3rd and 7. Perfect pass, Cortland Sutton.
On Trent
Chiefs,
McDuffie.
No timeouts.
Yep.
We run the clock down. 1 second left.
Perfect
Bo
setup.
Nix downs it right on the right hash, just like Will Lutz wants. Will Lutz lines up, kicks it, and the ball goes to the right.
It was the saddest thing I've ever watched.
I literally said, "Oh no!" Dropped my phone on the floor and had to take a second.
I think what made it hurt worse was Kevin Harlan's reaction when he screamed. Like that. Did you really think that was going to happen? I stood up off my couch anticipating to text you immediately and repost on my story that the Broncos were 6-4 and beat the 8-0 Kansas City Chiefs, and that didn't happen.
I have never been so
heartbroken.
It was such a quick turnaround from we're going to win this game to oh my god.
You watched Bo Nix slice that defense up too. They put a lot of pressure on. I'm not going to lie.
Well,
but
yes,
the score's low. But
here's another thing: the Broncos scoreless in the first quarter, second quarter, 2 touchdowns. Third quarter, nothing. Fourth quarter, nothing. What happened in that second half, Sean? Where's your play calling?
Yeah, but we've known consistently the Chiefs' defense gets hot in the second half.
That's great.
This game, truly, and this is why I'm confident in the Broncos, this game was a true battle of 2 competitive teams. You finally see a team, yes, the record may not show as good as the Chiefs. There's a case to be made that this team can compete with any team now in the NFL. I mean, maybe not the Lions, but
maybe not the Ravens.
It's hard to say. I mean, yes, they lost 41-10, but
41-10.
I think you're too much of a realist with this team. I'm so confident now, it's not even funny. I finally have hope in this team. I'm a believer.
Your point that the Chiefs' defense is really good, that's great and all, but you want to compete in this league, you want to win championships, guess who you got to go through? You got to go through the Chiefs. You got to go through Steve Spagnuolo.
We almost did that.
But they didn't.
So are you going to hang your hat on they didn't all the time, though?
There are no moral victories in the NFL. You want a victory? Win the game.
Where was your for however many years we've had no moral victories and we don't have a quarterback. You finally have a quarterback. You're not going to be excited about it?
I have watched Denver Broncos football from 2016 to 2024.
You joined too late, buddy.
I have never seen my team make the playoffs.
That's on you.
They had one winning season when I was 10 years old.
That's on you. Yeah.
I'm a sophomore in college.
I don't know.
I've seen more quarterbacks.
But that's exactly what I'm going to say, though, is you're going to hang your hat on the fact that we finally have a franchise quarterback, presumably, of course. But you're not going to be excited about that. You're not going to be excited about the results we're getting at this rate.
I mean, wins.
Be honest. We really didn't know if Bo was going to be him in the NFL. We didn't know if it was going to translate. It's translating.
I don't care about...
He's better than Drake. He's better than Caleb. He's almost...
I'll agree with that.
Almost better than Jaden.
I don't care about moral victories. I care about actual, tangible victories. Nick Bonito, after the game, he was asked, can you build off this game? He said, no. We have to get wins. There's no...
I disagree with that, though, in a way. Do you agree with me?
There's no building off this game.
You have to take something away or you're never going to have anything to build or capitalize off of. Yes.
What are we building off of?
Yes, I'll be the first one to tell you wins matter. But at what point are you not going to sit there and say that you didn't do anything good in that game?
No.
I think you need to take the victories where you can get them.
Exactly.
Where was the victory?
Your quarterback is finally competing with Patrick Mahomes.
You may not get the win, but just because you lose, if you take it away that all this was a loss, you're never going to gain any momentum.
Exactly.
Because
So, Nick, what are you going to say if we do make the playoffs this year and we're round 1 exits? You're going to be pissed off and say that...
That's different.
How is that different?
This is a regular season game.
But regular season games lead to the playoffs.
Wait. If the Broncos go to the playoffs this year, I don't care if they're first round exits. I am happy that they went there.
I agree.
How can you not take any moral victories out of this?
Because this is not a postseason game.
This
Guess
game
what?
is
Guess what?
almost just as big because this answers a lot of questions. Can the Broncos compete with top tier teams?
No, they cannot.
I know internally you want to agree with me, bro.
Our playoff chances, if we win this game, are like 79%.
Yeah, now they're 46. I saw the graphic.
There are 39. They're not
dropped
46.
But it's still. How the rest of the AFC is falling apart? What other team behind the Broncos?
Because the Bengals
be
and the Colts are second,
be realistic.
a game behind.
We play both of them.
They're 4 and 6.
We play both of them
They're
coming
both
up.
4 and 6 right now.
What other AFC team can you list that can actually get to where they're at right? Exactly, they're too deep.
I don't think this game necessarily changes their playoff seeding.
And how can you not take any victories from it?
Because we didn't win the game. I have watched more losses from my team.
Would you rather watch Bo Nix throw 3 interceptions, 60 yards, and lose still?
No. You know what I would have rather seen? A win, which we didn't get. We didn't get a win.
At least you know, that your quarterback is able to compete.
Bo Nix did throw for 60 yards in a game, and you know what happened?
We still won, but
still. And that's what I care about. I don't care how many passing
So
yards.
when you left that game confident in Bo? Because a lot of people didn't. He didn't.
I don't think it changed my opinion on him.
I definitely questioned it. I was like,
it was pouring
60
rain.
yards.
I was actually
Aaron
at the game.
Rodgers still had 150-some passing yards.
He's Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, he's certainly nothing now. Did you see the week he had this week?
Wow.
Perfectly fine conditions in Arizona, only had 150 passing yards. No touchdowns.
He's still Aaron Rodgers. He still has the brain. He may not have the body. Pause.
Okay, well, let's move on, guys. We're wasting time at this point.
That's the first argument we've ever had. Usually it's us against him.
Steelers versus Commanders.
Much needed.
I can't.
28-27 final score. I'll take this one. I'll give you guys a break. So, this game, Russ maybe not played
trash.
He played ass. He made plays when they were needed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Touchdown we saw that touchdown pass to Pickens and a touchdown pass to Mike Williams.
The one to Mike Williams was the biggest play because that's what set them to win. That's what set them to be in control of the game and be up finally.
Yeah.
And the pressure that was in Russ's face when he threw that ball was insane, and he still made the play. So
again, we see that the Steelers team led under Mike Tomlin is a very goddamn good team.
Every year. Yep.
Year after year, but especially this year because they just beat the Commanders that are known as one of the best teams in the league.
I was excited for this game, and it was everything I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
And I also had to leave in the middle of this game for work, so I watched the first 3 quarters.
So did you not see the way they won it then?
I did
live?
Not see how they won it.
Oh, that's sad. I feel for rookie defensive lineman Johnny Newton. And I'm glad that they responded the way they did. Bobby Wagner lifted him up. So Russ is a veteran. He has a great cadence.
Yeah.
Draw them offsides in 4th and 1 to seal the game. Just
I
kneel it out.
did see that. I saw that clip.
I feel so bad for Johnny Newton, but I like the way they responded. The defense lifted him up, and Bobby Wagner told him, look, kid, this happens in the league. Get used to it. The only way you're going to learn from it is by making these mistakes.
But are you not expecting them to do that?
And that's what I will say, though, is Dan Quinn, you got to tell these guys, you're playing a veteran in Russell Wilson. He's known, a lot of veterans are known, for trying to draw you off sides in these situations.
Mahomes does that constantly.
All the time.
He did it probably on Sunday.
And the thing with Mahomes, I don't know how defense will pick it up. If it's blue, he usually snaps the ball. If it's yellow, he hasn't snapped it yet. You can tell. He does the stupid color thing.
Yeah.
So you got to catch on to that eventually. But I do feel for Johnny Newton, the rookie defensive lineman for the Commanders who jumped off sides. But, I mean, that's what you're going to face when you play rookie or veteran quarterbacks like Russell Wilson. He may not be elite anymore, but like I said, he made the plays they needed him. And right now, especially, out of the last 3 seasons, is finally doing them enough to win football games.
And we saw the Steelers offense capitalize a lot off of their defense. We saw those turnovers that led to that.
They let up a good amount of points this week, but the defense also made plays when they needed it. They caused turnovers. They caused a fumble. Or no, that might have been the No, they did. They caused the fumble in the red zone for them.
Yeah, and then Russ comes out and he throws the little dump pass off to the tight end.
Yeah, they had like a 70-yard drive on that drive. It was a 7-minute long drive too. So they time possession is what also helped them in that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't really have any much more to say about the game. I just really wanted to get across the fact that Russ is not playing to the level that everyone's hyping up to be, but I'll give him the credit that he's making the plays when they're needed. But, other than that, I don't know much more else to say. Do you guys do?
Okay. Nope. I think we move on. 49ers versus
this
Bucks.
game. Dude, this is 3 back-to-back games. Down to the wire. And Baker Mayfield, once again, another week has proven All you need to do is put him in a Bucs jersey, and he is a phenomenal quarterback. You know, my favorite play this entire game was on 4th and 7 in the fourth quarter to get them back to even compete in this game to tie the game up. He stiff arms Nick Bosa for like 3 yards and then throws it to Rachaad White for a first down. That stadium went nuts.
Yeah.
So, yes, you lose the game again, but Baker Mayfield in Tampa is a match made in heaven, and I cannot wait until next season when he gets his pieces back. Or they add to it, because I don't know if they're going to get Chris Godwin back.
So, how much
Probably
do we
not.
think CMC, because now that CMC's
I don't think
back.
he had much of any impact on this game. He definitely had like some attraction to him. Like the defense had to account for him, but he didn't really have an impact in the rush game.
That's true.
I mean, he only had like what? Let me see.
Do you think,
39
was he on
yards
a,
on
yards.
13 carries.
Yes.
was he on a snap count?
It's hard to say.
He had
There was
13
there's no
carries
confirmation
with
of
6
it.
catches, so
And he
probably not.
had a pretty good amount of like time in the game. I saw him a lot.
Yeah.
He had more of a threat in the pass game than anything else.
Yeah, 68 yards and 6 catches in this game.
But I think more than anything in this game, like I just said, just having CMC on the field does something. I mean, your linebackers have to account for him.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
my question I want to ask you guys, Mike Evans returns week 12. So that's in 2 weeks when they play the Panthers.
Yeah.
But is it enough to save the season? So I'll give you the remaining schedule. They play the Giants, the Panthers, the Raiders, the Chargers, the Cowboys, the Panthers again, and then they finish the season off in a divisional match against the Saints. Is there time and is there enough wins left for them to turn this around and potentially
So
in the NFC be the 7th seed?
if Mike Evans does return in that 2 games from now against the Panthers.
Hopefully. That's fingers crossed.
So,
We don't
okay.
know.
So let's say he does.
He does, yes.
I think that the Bucks can go undefeated for the rest of the season.
I was going to say, this is a very winnable schedule. I think your only concern is the Chargers. Nick, what do you think?
The Cowboys are in shambles.
Right now, I'm looking at the playoff seeding. They are currently the 12 seed
Oh, God. So they have to win out.
behind the Seahawks, Rams, Bears,
They
and
could beat
49ers.
the Giants without Mike Evans, I think.
They could easily get ahead of the Bears. They're easily. I don't know.
They just lost the tiebreaker to the 49ers, though.
Yeah,
That's going to be big. 'cause
that's going to hurt them.
Right
yeah.
now, the Packers are the 7 seed with a 70% chance of making the playoffs.
Okay.
So I have a feeling this is going to be what we're going to see.
So they might miss the playoffs literally by a couple wins because they're going to be ahead of the Bears easily.
By the way, while I'm looking at it,
Yeah.
Broncos' playoff chances have now risen to 52%.
You're welcome.
Colts are the
Told you.
8 seed with 21%.
Told you.
So
Okay, well,
Aside from
Fingers
that.
crossed,
But I just want to get you guys' opinions. Do you guys think that there's any chance anyway this team could save their season?
yes. I think they're going to go all out for the rest of the season.
Dude, I'm so all in on Baker. Every week I watch him, I'm just like, dude, he's doing it. Now, granted, if you look at the stats this week, 18 to 29, 160 yards and a touchdown. That's nothing special. But it's the leadership and it's the passion and the heart.
For what he
when
has.
you watch him on the field, and exactly what's around him. You now lost your left tackle.
Bucky Irving.
You now lost all your receivers. And finally, Bucky Irving's becoming something, but is it enough?
Yeah.
we've seen flashes so far, and now he's starting to pick it up a little bit.
I think the other thing that's
But-
hurting him is the Bengals, the defense is getting old.
Yeah.
They're letting up a lot of points.
yeah.
You can't come back.
I mean, they're the 12 seed, just lost the tiebreaker to the 8 seed. I have a really hard time believing they can do it.
You think they at least get close? Eighth spot? And
I
that doesn't
think
make
they
you
could
go
be 8,
in.
9.
But okay.
Spot, but I have a hard
They
time believing
need
they're going to get
need
in.
to desperately address the receiver position in the draft because I don't see a
Chris Godwin's gonna be gone.
I don't see a high chance where they re-sign Chris Godwin.
Even if they did,
You've already
there's
struggled to
no-
re-sign him. You had to franchise tag him a few years ago back. Then you finally get him a deal. Now he's hurt. Now he's a free agent again.
There's no promise that he's going to come back and be himself, even if they do re-sign him.
Where do you think he goes?
I mean, like that injury was not good.
Question.
I hope the Broncos don't go after him. Honestly,
I'm a little iffy on that.
I don't
I
think
could
he's the
see him
same
going
him.
to, like,
We've
the
seen these kind of
Steelers or
injuries
something.
kill people's careers.
I could see him going to Pittsburgh.
Yeah. No, Mike Williams has made a big impact in Pittsburgh just on that one catch yet.
Yeah, but
but
does he stay there?
no, it's only a 1 year deal. He'll be gone after
Exactly.
this year. So
Well, moving on to the Falcons.
let's say
and
staying in the
Saints.
division. Let's just go to the Falcons and Saints game.
So I think we should be quick on this one. Just because,
right off Kirk right away.
yeah. How do the Saints win this game? Like this kind of goes back to what you guys were saying.
It wasn't a
about
pretty game
Kirk
by any
Cousins.
means, but you have Derek Carr back. You're
I
going to have
mean-
better decision making.
Every week we sit here and say the Falcons suck. The Falcons are really good. The Falcons aren't that great. The Falcons,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah,
I,
like,
I,
I go
I
back and
last-
forth
and say
I
something
last-
new.
Yeah, I know. I last week finally said, all right, maybe I'm in on Kirk. I'm in now.
And guess what?
And
So
then he goes and
exactly when they
loses.
lost to the Seahawks. We've said this before. They go up and down, up and down. We see this trend.
I'm hoping
continuing.
they go down one more time this week, and then I don't care how they do.
I did put that in the notes. I hope that they lose this week by Denver, which will put them at 6-5. However, I still think they make the playoffs. I just don't think they're a serious threat in the playoffs. I just don't see them competing.
I think they're first round exits.
Easily. I mean, Kirk is so stiff in the pocket. That's the one part of his game that's changed.
Yeah.
Kirk's never been elusive by any means.
Yeah.
Kirk could at least move with the pocket and had great presence. Now I don't see presence. I see him sit and hang in it if the offensive line allows it. If not, he's sacked. And the amount of turnovers from him being sacked, because he just does not hold on that ball for anything. So that, I think, has to be the game plan for the Broncos this week going into the Falcons. I'm not going to shit on them too much this week. They make the playoffs still. I don't think they go very far in the playoffs, if not at all.
Yeah.
Before we leave on it, though, I think that Derek Carr may not be great. He is definitely more than...
Definitely lifted up that
You
offense.
got to account for his presence being there because, I mean, the 2 huge passes to MVS, this opens up the game a little bit for Alvin Kamara. This gives the team a little bit of belief, especially now that... what's the new interim coach? Darren Rizzi. Him stepping in for Dennis Allen gives the team a little bit more juice, something to live up for.
Do you see the team was making like T-shirts for him?
Yeah.
Like, well, I forget what it said, but like
this team,
that's big for an interim head coach.
When you see interim head coaches come in, you usually see a little bit more juice and belief from a team.
Yeah,
it's just how it works.
Jets.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there because I thought Jeff Albridge was going to be good, but
Well, moving on to Sunday Night Football, we got the Lions and the Texans.
oh, you're just going to skip the Vikings like that?
Yeah.
I wanted Nick to get his credit.
Hey.
Yeah, no.
I got a little segment here. I got my name in the notes.
Okay, go ahead.
Give
Take
Nick
it away.
his credit. Give Nick his credit.
So a few weeks ago, I was crowned on by these two for saying next year the Vikings should start J.J. McCarthy over Sam Darnold. And this was in the heat of Sam Darnold doing really well. He looked pretty good. Past 2 weeks, and especially this week, not good. 3 interceptions for Sam Darnold against the Jaguars.
I don't know what it is. Are they just
Jaguars? They put up 12 points.
They've just been shitting the bed
Are
ever
the
since
defense
they started good.
Are the defenses just figuring out the team? Like, what is happening? Why are there
Sam
inconsistencies
Darnold
now?
is not that good. He was overrated.
But why for 6 or 7 weeks? I mean, you still have a great record. But why for 6 or 7 weeks?
Because our head coach is really great.
So you're going to win games like that magically, then out of nowhere just fall off?
Yes. We've seen it
That's crazy.
quite a few times in the NFL.
Yeah, we have.
Mac
we have.
Jones is so bad. I don't
Hey,
think
he had
I
a
can-
Russian touchdown.
I don't
Okay,
think
but
I
aside
can-
from that, if Trevor Lawrence played, the Vikings
Jaguars
lose this
win this
game.
game, yeah.
Because Mac Jones couldn't get Brian Thomas involved. Couldn't get Evan
Mac
Ingram
Jones
involved.
threw
Anybody
for
involved.
111 yards throughout the whole game.
2 interceptions for Mac.
Yeah.
Which was less interceptions than Sam Darnold.
And the Sam Darnold with the 3 interceptions, all on red zone targets or not red zone, 2 of them were red zone targets to Justin Jefferson. It's like, dude, those are the passes you have to make.
Yeah.
And he's not making them.
So I'm not even
You know
going
who
to argue
might
it.
make
I
'em?
just wanted Nick to get his credit because now, legitimately, we could sit here and say, okay, maybe give JJ the reins next season. I don't know where you're sitting with it, Dom.
I think I'm with Nick now. I think he swayed me.
I mean, I want to wait a couple weeks to see what happens.
Yeah, we need more
But
time.
I definitely
No,
am
we
leaning
don't.
towards maybe next season it's give JJ the ball and see what happens with it. All right, now
So
take it away.
now Sunday Night Football, we got the Lions versus the Texans. So I want to say something about this game right off the bat.
Go for it.
I watched this game start to finish, and I have never seen so many back-to-back. Gabe's already smiling. He knows what I'm going to say. So many back-to-back interceptions
It's
in
laughable.
my
It was
life.
laughable. 7
7
total
total
interceptions.
turnovers.
Like it felt like I was watching like a high school game. Like
Worse than high
yeah,
school
like
game.
It was terrible.
When's the last time somebody threw 5 interceptions in a game?
And
When's
I
the
mean-
last time you watched a team win the turnover margin and still manage to lose?
That's also a huge
this year it's
statistic I
happened.
saw.
We've talked about it on the podcast.
yeah, we have.
before,
Yeah, we have.
But,
But it's
no,
just like
I watched.
yeah, but
not
that's
good.
a
It's
crazy
not good.
turnover margin.
That is
to
insane.
win by +5. Or yeah, but that's like, how do you not win that game? How do you not capitalize on those turnovers? You know, I want to go
Well,
back and
you
look.
wanna
How
know
many of those
why?
turnovers did they score on?
So on at least 2 of those turnovers, I watched Jared Goff throw an interception and then CJ Stroud chuck it right back to the Lions defense.
Exactly, you can't do that.
You need to bring that ball down the field and capitalize.
So this
on
is
it.
where I'm also sitting with the Texans. It's like I feel for them because you lost Nico Collins, you lost Stephon Diggs, but I don't think your season should go to shambles now. And yes, you still have a good record, but we still have 8 weeks of football, and you could lose half of those games.
I agree.
Yeah.
I have so many questions with this team, and I hate it because I love CJ Stroud, and I'm not out on him yet. I don't want anyone
No,
to take it the wrong
no.
way. I just genuinely don't know where I sit with the Texans right now.
You know, CJ Stroud is actually first in the NFL right now in jersey sales.
Oh,
that's
I did. I saw that
that's just,
statistic.
come on, that's just popularity game right there. That doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, that's true.
It means people are still behind him.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's only his second year.
Yeah.
I mean, there's the notable saying, it's a sophomore slump. It happens. It sucks, but it happens with rookie quarterbacks. And I pray it doesn't happen with Bo next year. But it could. Do you guys have any answers for this? The Texans are in such a weird spot. 1 week the defense is amazing, the next week it's not. 1 week CJ Stroud's on, the next week he's off.
It reminds me of the Falcons. It's like on and off.
This whole season has been inconsistent. The only consistency is the
100%.
Chiefs, which I hate.
Yeah, and they should be the least consistent of them all with what they're working
They
with.
consistently win every week by less or than either by one possession or less consistently every week, and it's crazy. It's crazy.
Well,
it blows my mind.
Let's move on to Monday Night Football, which is
I'm not gonna lie, this game was off to me.
Dolphins and the Rams.
It was really a weird game, and honestly, I loved when Tua came back because I wanted to see the Dolphins offense be insane again. Tua, you're pissing me off. How are you going to lead with your head and go for a tackle after an interception when you've definitely got CTE and you've had multiple concussions and have looked... I don't even know what verbiage to use. You, in short terms, are lucky.
He's asking for it at this point.
You're lucky that you're still on that field. You're lucky that the league still lets you be there. I care for you in the sense of being human to human. You're making dumbass decisions. For one, you play with one chin strap unbuckled every game. For two, why are you leading with your head both on scrambles and a tackle? Two, don't go for the tackle. Push him out of bounds. Let your other players do it. You're a quarterback. We need you.
Yeah.
What?
Do what Teddy Bridgewater did a few years ago against the Eagles. Just stand there and watch him run right by you.
He put his arms up, didn't he?
Or you could just pull an Aaron Rodgers and absolutely hit stick the guy out of bounds. You guys know.
If he hits
this,
this, he might leave with a concussion again.
Yeah.
Tua, you're not gonna hear this, but it's just like the Dolphins need you more than anything.
Tua is actually
and
one of
you're
our loyal
playing
listeners.
carelessly, and it pisses me off, and I don't know why.
So going more deeper into the Dolphins' offense this game, we're not seeing a lot of running backs being involved.
We're not seeing a lot of Tyreek Hill involved. We're not seeing a lot of anything.
He's not even on the list.
I don't even know how they're winning football games right now. Because I really thought the Rams, after the last few weeks of winning, were going to be competitive.
Yeah,
I thought they were going to win this game.
They were going to win. Yeah, I thought they were taking this game too.
It's too bad this game wasn't before the trade deadline.
Yeah, you're right.
You know who might have been a Bronco?
Stop. You want Cooper Kupp so bad.
I love Cooper Kupp.
We're not going to get into it.
Okay.
I
Well,
was going to say there's no longevity, but there's no point getting into it.
let's go on to the quick mentions now, which we're going to do a little bit of rapid fire just to get all the news out
I
to
was going to say,
everybody.
so we're not going to go deep in these games. These are just to hit the games that we didn't go deep
Sunday
into.
Night Football style.
Yeah, so I'm going to start with the Eagles killing the Cowboys. Thank God. Good. Saquon, quieter than
We
last?
knew what this game was going to be.
Hey, quick, speed, I talk.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts had a decent game, 202 passing
Take
yards,
the show,
2
buddy.
touchdowns. A.J. Brown also having a good game with 109 receiving yards. And Cooper Rush,
Terrible. 45 passing yards.
Yeah.
They could have won you shit.
that's almost laughable. CeeDee Lamb dropped a pass due to sunlight. We talked about that earlier. And
Yo,
then-
Cowboys, use the curtain that you use for your concerts. Why are we not using it during a football game? Come
Jerry
on
Jones
now.
is stubborn.
and take it away, Nick.
So the Cardinals rolled over the Jets 31-6.
No one's
Kyler
surprised.
Murray looked fantastic, 266 passing yards and a touchdown. Now they're on a 4-game win streak. The Jets looked horrendous, dropping to 3-7.
That's putting it lightly.
Right? Aaron Rodgers had no turnovers, but only 151 yards, no touchdown, including a pass that was dropped by Devontae Adams in the end zone. This
Surprising.
guy he forced his team to go get. What has he done? Absolutely
team's doing nothing.
Absolutely
Nothing.
nothing. They're out. I am out on the Jets 100%.
I don't think Rodgers is
Like-
even going to be here next year. That's the craziest part.
He's probably going to retire and be like, see ya.
All right, so this next game, I couldn't wait to talk about this only because you two were crazy last week and said it was going to be like some close-ass game. Chargers beat the Titans, as I said. You both said it was going to be a close game. I don't
Yeah.
know what you all were smoking
10
last
points.
Hey,
week.
quick
Fairly
speed
close.
run.
But anyways,
Stop shitting
as
on
I
us.
predicted, Chargers beat the Titans. I wish they got Ladd McConkey more involved. I'm a fantasy owner. I needed the points, but whatever. You got the dub. That's all that matters. Bills
Right over the
steamroll
Colts.
right over the Colts, 30-20. Scores close, wasn't really close. Josh Allen he threw the 2 picks. They had that game won. Joe Flacco is not him. We're back down reality. You're Joe Flacco of what you were the last 5 years. Hate to break it to you, that's what you are.
Broncos, Joe Flacco has
And
made a return.
Patriots looking in the old fashioned, beat the Bears 19-3. This is something that surprised me. Drake May and the Patriots show heart, and they're not going to lay down and tank. They want to keep going for the gold.
Which is surprising.
I respect
which is
that.
surprising, but whatever.
And this also raises a lot of question for the Bears and Caleb moving forward, especially with Shane Waldron being fired now.
yeah, now you got a lot of questions answered in the offseason.
What does
Yeah.
this mean for the Bears?
And Panthers take down the Giants in Germany, of all places, 20-17. Yeah, Bryce Young, you're still not him, but, I'm happy for you. You finally got your dubs. You got 2 in a row now. Let's see if you can keep it going. Chuba Hubbard, however you want to call his name, say his name, finally gets his contract extension. A little bit high in my eyes, but, he got it.
Yeah.
Goes out, proves himself that he was worth it, has 153 yards and a touchdown. Good for him. Danny Dimes, you need to go. Giants, get him out. Put Drew Lock in. Do something. He ain't the guy.
Drew Lock is not going to get it done either, bro.
What else are you going to do this season?
He's played for all of our teams.
Your season's already over. Try something new. I'm sorry. It's an idea.
You can't bench Daniel
Yes,
Jones.
you can. What? Yes, you can.
What?
I don't give a shit about money. What do we do to Russell Wilson? You move on, you cut ties, you eat the money. It is what it is in sports. Don, what do you think? Put Drew Lock in or not?
Drew Lock. I want to see him like he played against the Eagles for the Seahawks last year.
I'm sorry.
What's the worst that happens? You put him in and you keep losing, or you keep Danny Dimes and you keep losing?
I think
Arguably
Drew
what
Lock
we
is a
argued
fine
with
person.
putting in Sam Howell over Geno Smith.
Which we got a lot of hate for on TikTok. I like the engagement.
Keep it coming.
All right,
keep
well,
going.
week 11 games to look out for. What we got coming for us, boys?
So the primetime games are not as exciting as what our slate is for Sunday games.
Okay, don't put them down. Commanders versus the Eagles for Thursday Night Football. I think that's a great game.
I was just going to say, wait.
Pull a Dom and say, let me talk.
Yeah, let me talk, buddy.
Okay, go ahead.
We do, however, have one could-be exciting game for Thursday Night Football. We got the Commanders at the Eagles.
Could you imagine 2 exciting games in a row on
Jaden
Thursday?
Daniels is beating Jalen Hurts. I said it here, folks. I hope at least you better.
I want to see Saquon Barkley backwards hurdle some more people.
I just need a touchdown from
I just need
those
17,
fantasy
18 points of Saquon and a Jaden Daniels dub. That's all I need.
Yeah.
Is that really hard to ask
I'll
for?
get behind that.
Predictions?
What does that mean for Bo Nix's Rookie of the Year?
I'm not
doesn't
going
matter.
to
Doesn't matter
give a
right now.
score for this one. I'm just going to say high scoring, close, Commanders win.
I hope it's high scoring.
I'm going to go 2017 Commanders.
Okay.
So we're all Commanders.
Yep.
All right. I like that. I like consistency with this because we never are consistent with our picks.
And I want to take Sunday Night Football away with
You do?
actually
Okay.
one of my increasingly more favorite teams, the Bengals versus the Chargers.
I hope the Bengals beat the Chargers.
I want the
honestly.
Bengals to curb stomp the Chargers.
I
I
have
know
mixed feelings.
it's weird to look at in terms of our seeding, right?
Because if the Bengals win this, we're getting kind of uncomfortably.
But either way, we're okay because either way, an AFC team's
We are. We're
losing.
still a game ahead.
Exactly. So here's the thing: if the Chargers lose, it helps us with the AFC West, and they're still going to go down in seeding because they're going to take a loss.
And they
if
had
the-
the tiebreaker against us. We could get the tiebreaker against the Bengals week 16 or 17. I forget which. So
I
we're
think the
kinda in a
Broncos
weird
could win
spot
out,
here.
but I think the Bengals are the one team I'm scared of.
Man,
I'm
fuck all
afraid of the
that
Chargers.
stuff. I just
They've
want the
already beat
Bengals
us.
to
Can
win.
you
'cause
get
I
a load
like
of
them.
this guy? Like, come on now.
I just want the Bengals to win because I like them, and I want to
Alright.
see
Screw
Joe
you. We're
Burrow
going on
get
to
what
Monday
he
Night
deserves.
Football.
Right.
Monday Night Football.
Battle of
it's
Texas.
The Wait, what was I going to say? It's the Texas Showdown, not the Cowboys Showdown. The Cowboys ain't shit. We got Texans at Cowboys for the Texas Showdown.
It's going to be a barn burner. Real
It's the Texans are taking this. I hope.
juggernaut.
Better if they don't take
If they
this.
don't
as
take
an
this,
issue.
and I'm out on the
I'm
Texans.
gonna
They
give
need
a
to
score
go to
for
the
this
CFL
one.
if they don't take this.
21-7 Texans.
You think it's going to be that high? You think the Cowboys are going to get 7?
That's true. I'm being, yeah. I'll go 21-7.
24-3 Texans.
Okay.
24-3
respect
Texans.
it.
If Cooper Rush only had 45 passing yards against the Eagles
45.
defense, what is going to happen here?
Laughable.
I'm going 17-3.
I like that score.
Yeah, that's
It's only one more score than me.
Yeah.
All right, now this is where I'm excited. Sunday game still got 4. We've got the Falcons at the Broncos. Now, Dom, you're a hater, so you probably don't look forward to this game. This game means a lot for the Broncos.
Well, I'm not going to say that. I do look forward to
You
this
do
game.
look forward? Okay, good.
I think it's going to be a good game. That's why I look forward to it. Because they're both teams
This could be
Yeah.
a nice game, or it could be one low
I think
scoring
it's going to
game.
be a shootout. That's what I think.
You hope
it's
so?
gonna
I hope
be.
so. No, maybe not. Maybe not.
I'm going to say 24-21
Broncos tend to lose in shootouts,
Yeah.
but
Well, I'm going to go with the Broncos.
I like the confidence. What was your score prediction?
24-21 Broncos.
That's realistic. That could happen. That's assuming Will Lutz hits the game-winning field goal. We've seen how that goes.
Yeah.
What's your prediction, Nick?
I'm not going to make a prediction because,
Oh, come on,
because
bro.
last week I made the prediction and guess what happened?
All right, well, I'll stay loyal to the orange and blue. Broncos, you're winning this game. I'm not going to give you a score prediction. We're going for the playoffs.
Love Justin
That
Simmons.
brings us to one of the most notable games that we've all been looking forward
This is
for
the
a
most
month.
anticipated game of Week 11.
Chiefs versus the Bills.
This one I'll give a
I'm
score.
going with the Bills.
Josh, what? Oh, okay. I thought you said Chiefs. I was going to say sorry. I thought I heard the
said,
Chiefs.
"What?"
Yeah, I thought I heard you say Chiefs.
I said the Bills.
Okay, good.
Bills.
All right.
With MVP Josh Allen.
And, yep.
What?
Wow.
Okay.
He got you there, bud. He got you there.
I'm giving a score for this one. I would say the Bills are taking this one 21-7 Bills.
Yo, you're crazy for that. You're actually crazy.
21-7.
You can
Bills.
hate the Chiefs all you want. Be realistic, please.
That is realistic.
The Bills' defense
what
is
world?
not doing that.
Okay, then I'll mend it then to make you guys
At least
happy.
put 10. At least
21-14.
That's
Okay.
better.
Bills.
Nick, go for it.
28-24 Bills.
That's more like it. I'm going to go Bills 31-24.
Okay.
I think the Chiefs get the ball. Last drive, fourth quarter.
I hope he throws a pick
Patrick
on that drive.
Mahomes throws an interception.
Oh, or he gets hit and
Bounces
fumbles.
off of Travis Kelce right into the arms.
He's painting the picture right now.
Yeah. Right off
I'm
Travis's
manifesting.
head.
I'm
Yo, do we know who the
manifesting.
broadcast crew is for that game? Because that could ruin the entire game.
If it's Chris Collinsworth, I'm not watching
No, it's
it.
definitely going to be like Jim Nance and Tony Romo.
Oh, I don't know.
Exactly.
I think that was a penalty.
That's all we're going to hear the entire game if it is.
that's
I
gold.
included this game for you, Dom, because I actually think this could be every divisional game is
So
always somewhat
we've seen
good.
the Seahawks play. I've seen the Seahawks play the 49ers these past couple of years. I
Well, they
feel
play
like
them
I
twice
come-
a year,
Yeah,
so.
I feel like I come into the game with the Seahawks just knowing they're going to lose. And
You can't be that.
no, it's not me. I feel like the Seahawks play expecting to
Oh,
lose.
you're saying
but-
they come
yes.
in with the attitude? Okay, yeah.
and I
They do
think-
lose historically to this team.
And
Yeah.
it's very winnable games that they lose to. And I think that
It's never by a
Listen.
big score either.
I'm going to say, just going off the past, I want the Seahawks to win this game so bad. But realistically, I think this is going to be a 24-21 49ers.
You're coming off a bye. If you haven't game planned for this, that's on the Seahawks. I mean, I know the bye historically sets people back, but
Yeah,
Do we have DK Metcalf back for this game?
probably not.
I don't think
I don't have
so.
any confirmation on that, but probably not. I haven't seen any reports that he's going to be
Neither
back
have I.
this
It's been
week or-
quiet.
Exactly.
JSN went off. In his
Yeah,
last
I
game.
mean, we have seen a lot out of JSN, so
That-
this
that-
game could go either way. But
That raises some questions for me next season. Do you let go one of these receivers?
well, we gotta think about Tyler Lockett starting to expire
That's what I'm saying.
age-wise.
You might
So
not need him
we
anymore.
May be
You might be able to give him. You might be able to trade him now before it's too late and get some capital back for him.
It's true. I agree.
Because JSN proved he can be your number 1 or 2.
I agree.
Our next game. Oh, I didn't get my score prediction. Or, I'm not going to go score prediction, honestly. I'm just going to go 49ers. I'm sorry. I think the Seahawks compete.
It's a very winnable game for the Seahawks.
It is.
But
it is.
I think
definitely think it is.
realistically, it's
But the Niners just know how to win games against their
against the
division.
Seahawks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
And-
unfortunately, I'm going to go
and
Niners.
This year and historically, the Seahawks have played very bad against division rivals.
It's Mick McDonald's first year. You
That's
can't
true.
overreact.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, next game. I honestly cannot wait for this game.
Oh.
Ravens at Steelers.
this could be the battle for the winner
Exactly.
of the North.
I don't think people realize how much is online for this game.
They're both
I
7
cannot
and 2,
wait.
right?
Yeah. 7.
Crazy.
Is it 2 and 3? 7 and 3.
I'm gonna stay loyal to a team that I've really liked this year, and that's the Steelers. I'm gonna say the Steelers take this game in a very
I can see where you're going with it. I'm gonna go Ravens.
But I think this is. It's hard to say because the Steelers' defense is so good.
I would say the only way I can question my pick for this game is because it's a divisional game and Lamar is notorious for
Well, here
not
I'm
winning
gonna
these
say
games by big margins.
I'm gonna say something that I don't think we've ever predicted the score. I'm gonna say mid-score, 21-21 tie in overtime.
That's a
That's
gamble.
I know
I'd
it's
like to see it.
most
I'd
likely
like to
not
see
going to
it.
happen, but
Do you think there's a world where this game ends in a tie?
I do because the teams are so evenly matched.
Are you talking ending in a tie or going into overtime and then somebody winning?
Well,
Yeah, you
both-
got to lay out
both,
which-
but I think because these teams are so even, I think there's a chance that this game ends in a tie in overtime.
Wow.
No, I don't think so.
That's so hard to predict. I don't know about that.
It's bold,
I
but
just can't see
it's
it.
bold, but I can see it.
Yo, if it does, you need to reveal them sources because that's crazy. You just predict that
Those
if
got
it
the
does
script
happen.
writers.
I'm gonna go Ravens. I don't know for score, but that's wild. Now you got me thinking. Could this game go to overtime at least? You think, Nick?
Absolutely. I think
No.
maybe less of a chance of it ending, as I've said, but
I think it
there's-
could definitely be close, but I think the Ravens pull away with it.
31-21 Ravens.
The only part I worry is it's in Pittsburgh. And that's not far from Maryland by any means. It's just
Oh, you
the
know
Ravens.
the terrible towels.
the
Steelers
Ravens.
fans travel well anyway. Look at the
Yeah,
game
but the
against
Steelers
Commanders.
is a
Look
very
at the
hard
home
stadium
game.
to play at.
I just feel like the Ravens are. I'm picking them. Don't get it wrong. They're so inconsistent when it comes to these kind of games. When it comes to divisional, I mean, they've almost lost to the Bengals twice. So
I will never pick Russell Wilson to win a game ever again.
I'm
I
not
don't
picking
care.
him. Not picking
I
him.
don't
Just
care if
saying
he's playing
it's
the
not far
Titans.
fetched that they could win. We just watched them beat the Commanders. The other two games he beat shitty teams. So I guess there's only the one game.
Giants and the Jets. Woo.
I guess Dom, time will tell. I mean, you're
We'll
looking
see.
real smart from that first hit because me and Nick were way off.
We'll see.
Well,
At least I
guys,
got Sam Darnold on my side.
Sam Darnold. Yeah, you're right about that. That's true. Well, guys, that is all for this week's episode of the Turf Talk podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed it.
Yep.
Make sure you follow on all socials so you guys don't miss out on any full episodes or exciting clips and content. We are now on YouTube, so please check that out. Full video recorded episodes if you want to get the video version. Audio on Spotify. And with that, we will see you next week for week 11? Yeah, week 11's reactions. And with that, join the huddle and join the talk with the Turf Talk podcast.